Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to a special Tuesday night in America here on NDB Media. Of course, I'm your host, Roger D. Noriega, otherwise officially and legally. Well, I'm still legally Roger, but that's in English. In Spanish, it is Rogelio. That's what's on my birth certificate, so that's what I'm going to stick with. Joining me on this wonderfully hot evening is Michael Day, otherwise known as the Milagro Man. You like that one, Eminem? You cool with that one, Eminem?
No comment.
The silence. Okay, fair enough. Hopefully, I didn't embarrass him on that one, but it's all good. Want to welcome everyone who's joining us, everyone watching here on NDB Media, as well as on all the other channels. You know, I've done several episodes on this, and now I'm going to go ahead and continue. I have the results. As you know, I've done the DNA test with Ancestry.com. I'm still going to do the other two. Michael and I had been talking about doing two and maybe three because it does take a while to find everyone. Hola, Mr. Gamer, otherwise known as the Big Dog. But we're going to get to it. I'm going to talk about some definitions. I am not going to show any of my connections because it's only fair and respectful. I don't think there's a legal requirement, but I don't think I would want personal stuff to be shown like that. So I'm going to do my best to avoid that. I'm not going to show any connections, but I don't want to allude to anything, but I may have found something. And that little smile that Michael has is, you're still talking about it, idiot. You're still talking about it. And I am. So I ask you to forgive me, but we're going to get right to it, folks. I do know I've always been an admirer of history. I am a student of history. I study it, I live it, I breathe it, I read it, I do all of that stuff. And I do everything that I can on a regular basis. And we may have my assistant, that's Claudia back there. So she decided to join us right now. We are live, so I have to warn her on that. But beyond that, it's all good. Um, I'm really surprised by the numbers of people that are here already, so I'm going to get to it. I want to get some definitions out of the way. As you know, my name is... Hey, there's Claudia again. Hey, Claudia. Don't be sorry. You're already here. So we're okay. The mic picks it all up. As you know, my given legal name is Rogelio D. Noriega. How I began using Roger is because I always went by my middle name. I don't know why, but they always called me Danny when I was younger. Dan, Danny, whatever. But when I was in the fifth grade, we had Danny Delgado, Danny Santa Maria, we had Danny Noriega, we had Danny. There were like two other Dannys. Mrs. Grutbo, that was our fifth grade teacher, had a way of identifying all of us. But she would always refer to me as Dan, as being more of the adult one. I don't know why, but it is. And of course, my daughter decided on DNA Day to bring toys. So we'll probably get to them at the end. So on my DNA Day, I get Merry Christmas, but we'll see. So anyway, I stopped going by Danny in the seventh grade. No, actually, in the sixth grade, I started going by Roger because I grew tired of Danny. So took a long time, but everyone came around, and eventually I was going by Roger. And once I finished high school, and I went to get my ID. The guy at DMV was Latin, so he knew. He saw my birth certificate, which said Rogelio, and my school ID, it said Roger, and he asked, "What do you want to go by?" Well, I want to go back and smack the 18-year-old. I should have gone by Rogelio then, like I'm going through now. I am in the fourth year of correcting the spelling on my name. It's incredible as to how long it's taking. So, I am making the switch. Before I retire, I got to have it all in order. It's Rogelio. So, it's legally that way. It's becoming that way, and I'm going to continue with it now. So, unfortunately, a lot of my records are Roger D. Noriega. And it's going to be that way for a long time. See, Michael over here was lucky. His name has been Michael Day all his life. Ain't that so, Michael?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, well, hopefully Michael will jump in when he feels that it's appropriate. But I do want to appreciate the love from Joshua Dalton, Tony Kanopka. Thank you for spending time with us. Folks, everyone in the chat room, please let me know who you are and where you hail from. I'd love to know. I know the big dog is there. Pretty hot, isn't it? Okay, let me get these out of the way. My daughter, Spock, got me this. Not my daughter, Spock. My daughter, Gmo, got me this. And the prized possession, which we will be talking about on another episode. The Aliens Power Loader. That one, oh my God. Is that the price?
I'll show you the price on it.
Yeah, the price is on the back.
Whoops.
But all right.
She put a new price on so you would,
Well,
Oh
she's
my
smart
God.
because it's the most expensive price. But
Mhm.
Roger, Tocayo, thank you. So you have a little bit of understanding why I've gone by Roger and Rogelio. So I do know that I am mestizo, which is the most important thing. And for those of you that know and don't know, mestizo is a Spanish word and it's a racial classification. It's used to refer to a person of a combined European and indigenous American ancestry. The term was used as an ethnic racial category for mixed race castas that evolved during the Spanish Empire. Basically, castas is castes. So, although broadly speaking, mestizo means someone of mixed European indigenous heritage, the term did not have a fixed meaning in the colonial period. It was a formal label for individuals in official documentation, such as census, parish registers, inquisition trials, how convenient, and other matters. Priests and royal officials might label individuals as mestizos, but the term was used for self-identification. I am mestizo. As I understand it, it is one of European and Latin indigenous, or not Latin, but indigenous heritage. So, getting that out of the way. There's another word some people go by, some people don't. It is Hispanic. The term Hispanic, or Hispano or Hispanico, refers to people, cultures, or countries related to Spain, which I know I am. The Hispanidad, Spanish language, culture, or people. The term commonly applies to countries with a culture and historical link to Spain, formerly part of the Spanish Empire. So easy enough. So, that being said, I believe you can see up in the upper right-hand corner, I do have a family shield. It is up there, Noriega. And what I'm going to do in another episode, I'm going to get into detail on what the crest stands for. It is not a royal family, but a knight family in the Spanish Empire. Now, I've learned that the Noriega name is from 5th to 8th century northern culture Spain, meaning the Visigoths were there. That means Noriega has a German link, which that did surprise me. But we'll get into the Noriega shield and stuff on another day. I'm going to get into the important stuff now. Yeah, I shouldn't waste any more time, right, Michael? I should just get right to it.
Yeah, before you lose the audience because they don't like shields.
Meaning?
You need to get to the fun stuff.
Oh, I'm getting to it now. Joshua Dalton, Tony Konopka, Roger Peacock, Renda M. Carr, and Thomas Whitney. Thank you all for the love. We have several comments, and there it is. Yes, I do have a coat of arms. I've always known it since I was even in high school. So we're going to get to it. I'm going to switch the page, and we're going to go right to it right now, folks. And here it is. Oops, sorry, Michael. So I do know that that is my major group. This is the DNA community. I have two distinct genetic communities which I'm associated with. The one on the left is the Jalisco, which is within 300 years to today. And the one which is in the darker yellow is for the timeline from 500 to 1,000 back, which is really cool. But that is where I belong. And this is, I believe, 37% of my background. So, the first one that shows up is Basque. I am 1% Basque. So, for those of you that know, my family name is from Asturias in northern Spain, meaning I'm Basque. On this report, it says I'm 1% Basque, but it could be from 1 to 14, 1 to 16%. But I am Basque. So I've known that, duh. That was a gimme. I'm a little disappointed it's on 1%, but it is what it is. I found this out. Surprised me. I am 1% European Jewish. Not Ashkenazi Jewish, but European Jewish. So that was a genuine surprise. Wasn't expecting that one. Excuse me. I've bragged about this in person. I've told people I know I expect it to have a Moorish influence. And, well, we'll see if I have a Moorish influence or not. But I am 1% Senegalese. Again, a little bit of a surprise. I expected it in Algeria, Morocco, stuff like that. But Senegal is on the very tip of the big bulge of of Africa. Moving on up, I am 2% Wales. So Thomas More, the insult, I had it right, baby. I always had it right for the man of all seasons. Moving on further, I talk with my hands. I am 3% from southern Italy. And as we go over this, I'm going to show you the maps in a moment, but it is there. Excuse me. The next one, which did surprise me, I thought it was North Africa, but it turns out that I was completely wrong. Cameroon, Congo, and Western Bantu peoples. I am 3%. And where is the range for the Basque is 1 to 16%. Cameroon is 1 to 3. So it's a solid 3%. The next one, that shocked me. I don't surrender, but I'm French. 7%. So I'll show you guys on the map where that one really got me. Even though Asturias is right there in the Pyrenees, right next to France, it did surprise me. And another surprise, Portugal, right next to Spain. Again, I could see it happening, but I am 18% Portuguese. And then the most obvious one of all, Spain, 27%. And then finally, the one that I mentioned, the granddaddy of all, I am indigenous American, 37%. So, if we do the math very simply, and of course I can't find my calculator right now, if we look at it, 37% plus 27% is 64% mestizo, indigenous Americas with Spain. You mix in the 18%, that was 27 plus what? Sorry, 37 and 18. I am 82% from the Iberian Peninsula and Central America, which fits my understanding of my genetic journey. But taking a look at everything, folks, I was genuinely surprised to see this map. This is cool. This is my genetic structure. That's it right there. So if you check it out, there's the Basque, home in right there. And Asturias is right around here. I'm not sure exactly where it is, but it's right around there. That's Asturias, or the Basque. European Jewish. I can understand that with the Visigoth connection, 5th to 8th century, but it is there. And I always joked that I was Persian. Not even close, baby. Nowhere. I am not. I've always joked about my beak. Every time I interrupt the conversations, I say, oh, I'm sorry. It's my Persian beak that got in the way. I'm sorry. Well, I can't say that anymore because I have no Middle East, nothing. It really did surprise me. But when I look at my map, here it is again. I am African, European, and Central American, basically. But I am the Iberian mestizo, 82%. which is really surprising. From European Jewish to Senegal, as I mentioned right here. Wales. We knew we had ancestors from the north. We didn't know how far north. We were so arrogant. We thought they were from Norway because of some of the features. We have Norwegian features in many of our family members. So it's Wales and French. Wow, that's a big flight. Just over the mountains. So southern Italy, 3%. And yes, conquistadors. Now, this did kind of get me. The island of Crete in the eastern Mediterranean. But when I look at the numbers, my ethnicity estimate is 3%. But on this one, it can range from 0 to 3% for southern Italy. That did surprise me. Check out the Senegal. Ethnicity is 1%, but again, 0 to 3. It did surprise me. European Jewish. I actually did not see this one. 0 to 1, man. So I'm right in there. That's a score. Napoleon War influence, Roger? Maybe the conquistadors itself. But when I look at Cameroon, Congo, and Western Bantu peoples, that one is 3%, but it's from 0 to 4. That one is pretty much spot on. And when you look at the map, Michael, the darker areas in the map are the stronger areas, right?
Yeah, they've changed the map since I've looked at mine last, because they did a major update with Ancestry not too long ago and redid their maps, redid their calculations, which is one thing if you do it. If you look at it and then you look at it 6 months later, it can change because they are doing research all the time. So you could go and it could change, and they sometimes get more specific, which is really cool. As I talked to a friend that he had done his 6 or 7 years ago, and it was totally different from what it had been 6 or 7 years previous because they had gotten so much more information.
I've taken images, screenshots of everything that I have right now, only because I understand it can change. So I understand that yours changed, right, Michael?
Mm-hmm. Mine did.
So I'm keeping these images now because I want to have them and I want to keep them. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the changes are. Hola, prima. ¿Cómo estás? There's Patty right there. Says, hola, Michael. Hola, prima.
Hola.
So Patty, who's joining us, just to give you a quick idea, there it is. 1% Basque. You'll notice as I light it up I highlight it on the map, the Basque is there. European Jewish, 1%. Senegal, western tip of Africa. Wales, southern Italy. Cameroon, Congo, and the western Bantu peoples. French, Portugal, Spain, and Mestizo, or indigenous peoples. So I am 82% Iberian, Central American. So I want to, it's cool. It's 82%. Michael, could you take over for just a moment, please?
Okay, no problem. No problem. Now, unfortunately, I lost my internet connection right before this show happened, or I would say I could take some questions if some people had seen the show Roger and I did July 4th that I talked about my experience with Ancestry. But I can't right now. But I will say this, as I said, mine changed. Mine has changed maybe 2 or 3 times since I did mine a year and a half ago. Usually it's been, as I said, they do updates, but they send you an email saying that they are updating stuff. Please take a look because some things have changed. So it's cool to see the differences. And like when I first started, I had 3%. They hadn't figured out what I was yet. The next time it was 2% that they hadn't figured out what those genes meant. And I think the last one I had, it was down to 1%, that they had mapped more of my DNA that they didn't know where it came from, and I think probably the next time, they'll have all mine down. So I mean, it's really interesting.
Folks, what is really interesting, in addition to what Michael said, I doubt there's any interest in my story other than the interest to me and to my family. But what is really interesting to to us as a human species is, where do we come from? And by Michael taking the test, by me taking the test, and other family members and assistant Claudia, are you taking the test? Yeah, you are. Yeah, you are. By you taking the test, everyone, it strengthens the DNA understanding, right, Michael? That's why
Mm-hmm.
the information changes. Actually, I think this one did cost me. I lucked out. It was either $59 or $69, but it was on sale, and I got the health test. And I'm not going to talk about the health test right now because I am worried about it. It talks about what I'm predisposed to, and I'm not in a hurry. Claudia, show your face and say hello. My prima wants to meet you. There's a picture of her right there. Come on, come on. Oh, you're still on the clock for another 38 minutes. Come on.
So you have to come out and show yourself because you're on the clock.
You don't have makeup? Oh my god. All right, whatever, Claudia.
But it's dark back there. It doesn't matter.
There, just come on out a little bit further. Come on, there it is. There she is. There she is. Anyway, I wasn't gonna say Miss America because it's a little inapropos knowing that we're doing DNA right now. That was lame. Anyway, I know everyone's gonna beat me up on that one, but it is really cool in doing this. Patty, you need to do this as well. We need to talk off screen about you being able to take your test, because I don't think there's anyone on your side of the family that has taken the test. Now, I did mention that Michael and I have been thrown. There is something that did show up on my DNA, which is very, very odd.
Weird.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
It's very, very weird. And it shouldn't be that way. But we're going to see how it's going to work. But, did it work?
I did, so I can pick it up.
All right. We are, okay. Let's see. Claudia says my sister and her boys have. So they've done the DNA test? Wow. Okay, so we're not connected on the information then. Okay, that is cool. That's neat, though.
Which test did they take, though? Did they take Ancestry?
Patty, which one did they take? Oh, I was waiting for her to answer right now. I apologize. There's a 30-second delay. So, as you know, I started until she responds. I started this back in November. The first test failed, and there it is, Ancestry.
Okay.
Very disappointed. And they sent me another one almost right away. And this one actually did take under 30 days on Michael because I did the video on July 5th. No, July 4th. It was Independence Day. Yeah. And I got the results yesterday in the morning. So it was less than a month. They better because they were. Hey, there it is. His daughter, his middle daughter, Melissa, took a DNA test last year. That is really cool. Folks, you need to check it out. You need to look into it, and you need to take it. You take it for everyone in the world because it strengthens the DNA structure. As I understand it, there are significant gaps in the Asian world. Is that your understanding too, Michael?
Yes, they haven't done as much testing over there, so it's mainly been European, Mexico, I believe, and the U.S., Canada. So there's lots of areas that really haven't had too much yet. I have looked, and it is available in some of those places. Just not too many people have done it yet. They're not interested, I guess. But
I believe more and more people are taking the test, and even though they've done the genome project, and Michael and I have talked about this in the 2000s, we recall when National Geographic would show up at big events and they would ask people to, would you take a swab for us? And they did it for free for I don't know how many years. And it was the base for everything. And now it is really amazing seeing this. And I do want to give several shout outs. We're getting lots of likes. As I mentioned, Joshua, Tony Kanapka, my Tocayo, Roger Peacock, Renda M. Card, Thomas Whitney, Larry Nemechek. Thank you, Larry. I gave you,
Hey,
gave
Larry.
you a like on today's program, Larry. I wasn't able to see the program. I have to catch up with it later. Eric Ogle, thank you guys. Here it is again, folks. It. I am excited about it. I talked about it for years. Michael knows. My family knows. I've said I had Persian. I had a Moorish connection. Well, it looks like I have none of that. Not one. So when you look at the map, here it is again. Indigenous Americas, so indigenous, 37%. As my cousin stated, my great grandmother is mestiza, and I explained to you what the definition of that is. So 37% indigenous, 27% from Spain. Notice how the map highlights as I move it around. Portugal, 18%. France, 7%. Cameroon, Congo, and Western Bantu peoples, 3%. Southern Italy, 3%. Wales, the man for all seasons. Again, I can't get over that joke. I've used that joke ad infinitum, ad absurdum. Wales. Senegal, 1%. European Jewish, 1%. And Basque. That is the one that stunned me the most. Not the Persian or the Moorish connection, that I don't have that, but that the Basque is only rated 1%. But they are separatists. So I don't know, Michael, if they're playing. I don't know if they're a part of this, and I have a sneaky suspicion that they're not. But it is cool. I'm not going to talk. I mentioned the DNA communities, the two genetic, the one that is in bright yellow to the left. That is the younger one, the indigenous of Americas, Mexico, and Spain, and then the older one is. I'm sorry. This one to the right, the one that's lit in dark yellow, that's the older one, and this is the younger one. What I mean is the DNA connections go back 300 years on the one to the left. On the one to the right, it's between 500 and 1,000 years. So, and a vast majority of my family is there. I I think I can get away with showing that. Um, I'm going to cover up some more of those images, but those are my genetic relatives right now. I have one in Great Britain, one in Alaska, three in Hawaii, and approximately 551 in the Western Americas. That's crazy. That and these are people that have DNA connections to me today. So I have some other things that I didn't know what I was doing with Ancestry.com, and that is, I think it's called the through line. Is that what they call it, Michael? Where it's
Mm-hmm.
yes, I didn't know about it, so I activated it incorrectly, and I won't have an update till tomorrow. Now you'll notice on this map it says my location is in orange. There it is, right there. But the vast majority of my DNA, I was going to say progeny, but that was incorrect. My DNA people's family relationships are on the Western Hemisphere or the Western side of the Americas. But on the Eastern side of the Americas, there's 84 of them. So it's really cool. It's really exciting. A little bit of my history, folks. You should do it, not only for yourself, but for your family that follows. And it's really cool.
Yeah, let me talk about the through lines,
Please,
since
Michael.
you activated it, but it didn't. It takes 24 hours for that to start working when you
Yes.
click the button. So what it basically does, it looks at your DNA people that match you. If people have done a family tree, it matches the family trees up and it puts them with all the people, like as many generations as can back, and then comes forward to these other people of how they connect to you. And it's really interesting because the more people that do the family trees, the more that works.
Yes.
And I mean, you can see the parent and child. I mean, it was cool when I did mine, and then my new brother, that I just found out through Ancestry. As soon as he did it, 24 hours later, he showed up on my Through Lines family tree as my half brother. So I mean, it was really cool. It was really cool. But it's just one of those things that that Ancestry does that the other ones don't. Each one of them has different types of things that they do, how they use their data. But Through Lines is the one that Ancestry uses.
And folks, we did Ancestry first. I'm also going to perform the 23andMe, and then the other one I believe, which is my heritage. And yet there's another one that I may have found. I don't know if I'm going to try that one, but it's starting to hit as well. So we are on the lookout for a half sister. We know of her existence. We know she was born in San Bernardino. We know she was given up for adoption. She is about my age, so she was either born right before me or right after me. Don't recall. And the funny thing is, I remember growing up, and I always wanted a sister my age. And lo and behold, I had one without even knowing, which is absolutely crazy. So there's this one item here where you saw me click on it, and it's about the genetic communities. I'm going to take a quick look at that. How do they determine your connection to communities? A community is a group of people who share DNA because their relatives recently lived in the same place at the same time. Communities are usually much smaller than ethnicity regions, and they go back only about 50 to 300 years. So when you click on it, it begins to explain to you how they do it. And I'm not going to get into it here, but folks, it really is easy. It looks complex in these images right here. As I tell people, it's written in English. It's very simple. It's an easy read. If you take the time, you will be able to understand how it works. I've always been on the outside looking in, and I understand DNA from a legal perspective. But now that I've actually done this, it is terribly exciting to me and for me. And it's awesome. I'm stunned. I did not know. I joked with everyone. I always said, my lineage is this way. From over here, you're following the little hand, coming into, and then going across and meeting up with these people over here. But it turns out that my lineage is generally in this direction, down to here, with a few peoples from down to here. Don't know if they met here, but both lines met over here. Wow. That is cool. I am going to do additional research, see how far back I can go, and I'm really looking forward to this. I know that from my family, as I mentioned, my DNA this way and this way, which is kind of cool. And from there, it spreads out, which is really kind of neat. So, were you able to establish some patterns for your family, Michael?
Some. I was mainly using, because I said I had a specific purpose of what I was looking for. So I had already found my birth mother, so I just kind of ignored everything that had to do with my birth mother. So that kind of cut a lot of things out. And I was mainly looking at, because all of my dad's relatives were Tennessee and Kentucky. And most of them came over from Europe, Scandinavia, Germany, those areas. So that's what I found out.
So
But
yours
it's
is predominantly European then.
mm-hmm.
Now, how
some
far?
Some African, but mostly European.
I am looking forward to the time that they're going to be able to provide us the information as to how much is Denisovian, how much is Neanderthal. I know everyone says it's Neanderthal, but my sixth was he sixth grade? My sixth grade teacher, Mr. Sarkeesian, said it's Neanderthal. It stuck with me. So I am
Hmm.
hoping to get that eventually in the future.
Well, you will
Where
with 23andMe.
it does have that, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. So I am looking forward to that.
As I said, each one does something a little bit different.
Yes. I am shocked because when I look at my numbers, where are they? Forgive me a moment. Let me go back to DNA. Oh, here's the through lines that Michael was talking about. So you've got to update every 24 hours. I'm not going to open up my family tree right now because I just don't want to. But the DNA results again. There it is. That's what my
Is it
page looks like.
is it start is it starting to populate?
It's begun, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It has begun, but it says I'm not connected to through lines yet because it has to you know, has to
Mm-hmm.
update. So my DNA looks like DNA from these 10 world regions. I have 10 DNA. I'm not blasting my middle school teacher. As a matter of fact, I love Mr. Sarkeesian. Anyway, I want to give a shout out to Patty Figueroa Noriega, Peter Gama, Josh Jones, and All Tower Media. And I did tag other family members. I hope they're watching or eventually do get around to watching it. And hopefully this opens up a conversation. Or maybe they're going to say, oh, Roger barely figured out what's going on.
Took him forever, right?
It might be. So I was going to go back to this one. Check these numbers out. Total DNA matches 30,814. And 640 of them are matches sharing their location. I have reached out to two of them, which I found out one later just by looking up the name on Facebook, and it hit with the family member. So that was easy. This, the one that I'm kind of worried about right now, I don't have an answer. Michael and I have been talking about it. I am moving forward, but I have to talk to the rest of the family. But the second one, I believe, is my nephew on my brother's side. So it's Rogelio, yes. So I believe that one's one of the easiest ones. I even began that one by saying, is this so and so? Is Roger Noriega. So we'll see. And then the second one, I reached out to them and I found out after I reached out to them that there is a fairly close, maybe second or third cousin connection. So I didn't know of them though. So, well, excuse me, my nephew I did. Duh, I apologize. But the other one I did not. And it was a very non-Hispanic name as well, which Michael and I kind of, we're just like, where'd that come from? That's all. We
Yeah.
were just like, that one, based on all the names that were showing up, right, Michael? That one was
Oh
out
yeah.
of place. Yeah.
Oh yeah, totally out of place. Yeah. And as I was telling Roger before we went online, I
Yes, I
contacted
did.
a lot of people on Ancestry that, I mean, sometimes people pop up on your screen and, I go, oh, okay. And I do. I try to message some people. Most people, sadly, don't message back.
Right.
But the ones that have, it's like I hit this one that actually got back to me today. He was looking for his birth father, and he thought he had found his birth father and two half siblings, and he had just told me today that yes, that they have accepted him in the family, and I thought that was really cool.
Yes.
Another one. was on my birth father's side. He didn't know who his father was, and he did a DNA test and found his dad's sister.
Wow.
And the last I heard from him is the dad was absolutely shocked because he had been told that he could not have children. So he was very shocked. The genetics said that he was this kid's father.
Oh, wow.
So he said his dad was in shock, understandably,
Yeah.
and he would get back to him, after he calmed down. And I totally get that. I mean, my new family was totally shocked about me. They didn't know I existed at all. So,
Michael, your story though is, Michael, as a human being, as one of your compatriots, someone who I hold dear, you in my life, when you shared your endeavor with me, I was floored. And you brought me in from the very beginning when you began to do this. And I was watching from the side, curiosity at first, a bit jealous, almost to the side of zealousness, because you had begun doing it and I had not. But I remained quiet. But I was cheering for you all the way, Michael. And then we didn't talk for a short while. And then when we started again, you had mentioned the breakthrough. And after that, it wasn't a torrential flood, or was it?
oh, it was. Yeah,
It was, huh? When you
it
started
was.
making connections everywhere.
I mean, when I started making connections and then I had to find out, am I right? Because it was all based on genetics and, possible family tree connections. And, it was like I had no DNA proof
Right.
of who my father was. And I just had speculation. And so it's when I pursued some people and got the proof. Then that's when everything just went, whoa, I was right. Because the people really didn't believe me. They did not think that this guy was my dad at all. They said, he can't be your dad. No way. And he was. So,
Wow.
but it was all, as I said, it was working with all the family trees in Ancestry and 23andMe. Those are the two main ones that I found most of my information on. And between the two services, I piece things together. So
I'm looking forward to having uh, a score, if you will, on that, because I don't believe I have found her. I don't think I have the proper genetic markers, and or she has not signed up.
yeah, could be either one.
Yeah, because for those of you that know and don't know, the DNA is it's the mitochondria, right? It's the female. So my half sister, the one that we haven't been able to find, which I want to tell my brothers and sisters, I'm looking. I wonder what they're doing, but that's neither here nor there.
Mm.
I she's not related to my mother, so
No, so it'd all be through your father.
yes, or
Mm-hmm.
connections to me, and then she would have conceivably one half of what I have, right?
Half of a half. She could have up to maybe
25%.
25 to 30% of
And
what you have.
and when I looked at everyone, I had a 50%. Again, I have to resolve what's going on. I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to leave it at that. It's a 50% and then 27%. The 27%, boom, I got it. That's my nephew. That one, that's a slam dunk.
Yeah,
And then it drops off, and it's 7%. The other individual, the second or third cousin,
that would be about right. Yeah, it
and
cuts
then
in half. It
yeah,
basically cuts in half each time.
yes,
And if you don't, if it's a half, like if it's not a full relative, it's a half relative, it's cut in half again.
Wow.
So you could have someone is 50%, but that same person, if they were only a half relative of you, would be like 25% of the same genetics.
Well, if we look at the
So,
numbers, I have 30,000 people
mm-hmm,
with a DNA marker that makes
mm-hmm,
them family. However huge, but they have the same genetic makeup. They,
mm-hmm.
but when I look at my list, it goes from 50 to 27 to 7,
Yes,
6, 5, 4, 3. And it's like after
yes, exactly.
50
Yeah,
names, it
yes,
had one.
yeah,
That means 29,000 people.
yeah.
I have
Which
one
means which
percentage.
means your close relatives have not taken the test. Not many of them.
Yes. So, and I do recognize names. There are a bunch of Santanas in there. There are a few Gomez in there, and that's from my mother's side. Uh, Somewhere from one of my aunts, I forget, related to my grandma. I don't know, but somewhere around there. So, uh, we'll see. So I do recognize some names. There are faces that look familiar to me. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what
Mm-hmm.
happens. But uh, my journey has just taken its first official, well, its second step. I still have two more to go. And then we'll see if we get lucky.
Yeah, and if not, they could sign up years later,
Yeah.
and then you find out. That's the one good thing. It's like, I've had new relatives pop up. Um, that they sign up and like, oh, look, somebody new.
Yeah. I uh, I knew my DNA. I was 82% or 80. My DNA understanding was 82% in line. I'm not going to say correct, right, Michael? Is there
No,
such a
yeah,
thing? But
probably not. But
the way I understand it, it's 82% matching my understanding. But there's some of it that did throw me. The French, I had no idea. Oui, monsieur. I did not think there was any French whatsoever. And the whales, I just find it funny. A Man for All Seasons. I know the older group gets it. They've seen the movie A Man for All Seasons. One of the best biblical smackdowns of all time. It is absolutely fun. But yeah. But there it is, folks. I am proud of my DNA. I am proud of my heritage. And I'm going to continue to look back further. Now, here's a tiny thing. I still have to verify it, but I track my family line out here 16 generations to the Azores. And my 16th great maternal great grandfather was born in 1422. His son, I'm going to have to look it up again, of course, was born later. His wife, the 15th great grandfather, his wife was born in 1420. 2 years older than the 16th great grandfather. Wow, that is cool. So, my 16th great grandfather was born in 1422. My 15th great grandmother was born in 1420. I can't wait to do more research and see. So, Patty says, oh, wait, Josh says, oh, wait, I'm sorry, I missed a few of them. Not half less than that. Josh says, I find family trees and genetics fascinating. I plan on ordering me an Ancestry DNA kit in the near future. Yes, folks. You kind of look like Prince Charles. There you go, Michael.
I look like Prince Charles, or you do?
Yeah, I don't look like Prince Charles.
Are you sure?
If I did, the dating app on Facebook would be lighting up.
Oh, okay.
And it's not. So it's all good. All right. Well, yeah. What do you think, Michael? Did we? I covered it, didn't I?
I think you did, yeah. Until more information pops in.
Yes. So I belong to 10 communities or 10 groups, and it is really cool. So if 37% mestizo or indigenous, and 27 plus 8 plus 7, that's 49% Franco Iberian. And then I have 4% from Central and West Africa. And oh, I forgot the Basque. I guess I'm 1%. I get 50%. You know what? I am Franco European. 50%, huh, Michael? There it is. I am Franco Iberian. Wow. I knew I had from the great continent of Africa. I didn't know how much, but it's it. Let's see. You did, Rogelio. Unfortunately, Prince Charles is not very good looking.
She is mean, isn't she?
Oh, excuse me a moment. Yes, Claudia?
Nothing.
You laughing back over there in the darkness? Yeah, she's getting a kick out of that one. She understood what my cousin just said. You want to introduce yourself to my cousin now? You're going to meet her. Oh, my goodness. But all right. So, folks, there it is. I want to thank you for joining me in my journey. I have more steps to take. Both Michael and I have more steps to take. And I guess we're going to be talking about them and sharing with them. But, Michael, my story is pretty common. Yours is real. And I thank you again in the prior episodes for sharing as much as you did and as much as you have now. I I respect you even more, Michael, because you did this. A lot of people don't want to know, but
No, they don't.
you
They
did
don't.
and risked a lot. And you risked even when you were told no by being ignored. I can't imagine what that was like, Michael. I cannot. But you had the strength and the fortitude to continue, and you still continue. And I think it just made it that much more, maybe not precious, but much more delicious for those that did respond. It was difficult for them, wasn't it?
It was. It was. And sometimes it still is. It just, you know, when you think, things are the way they have always been, and then, woo, surprise, surprise. I mean, it's very difficult.
You
Some take it better than others.
Yes, and again, just looking at it, I see the lines, the arrows. Remember the one I was talking about earlier? From the north, straight across, and from the south, straight across. I see that. It's really cool. I thank my parents, the ones that were both in Jalisco, both left at a young age to come to the United States. They immigrated and they met. My mother was 17, I believe, or 16 when they met. My father was 5 years old when he held my mother in his hands. She was newly born, and they separated. And they met, they left Jalisco and took two different journeys and met over here in Los Angeles. Thanks, Mom and Dad. I thank you for bringing me into this world. And even though my father left a little over 2 years ago, I am eternally grateful that even though we did not speak for 18 years, folks, 18 years, I did have a chance to say goodbye to him. And I think with each passing day, it becomes rougher. And that is something I'm going to have to live with for the rest of my life. But when I found out that his time was near, I ran. And no matter what I've said about my significant other, When she found out, she went with me. We went to pick up my sisters, and we went to Reseda, the Northridge Hospital. And I'm sorry, the hospital in Reseda. And that was on a Sunday night. And I saw him for the last time. He died within, I believe, 10 days. But I was driving Uber and Lyft Saturday night, Sunday morning. And folks, you know me. You know how I am. I was in the San Fernando Valley. And I passed that hospital 3 times. And each time, for some reason, I was drawn to it. And it was odd. But I looked over each time I passed. And it was not that it was calling, but there was something about it. And lo and behold, within 24 hours, I was there. I will forever thank my significant other for going along. My daughters did not want to go. They didn't speak to him. They didn't know him. I can't say anything. But I suppose the whole point of this story is we only have one trip, guys. There's only one time on this world. We need to take advantage of it. It's not worth a minute being angry at someone. It's not worth it. Because that minute will never come back. Am I jealous? I was. When I went to his services, I heard other people talking about Nacho and who he was. And I was jealous of them, almost to the point of being angry. Because they were not family, but they spent time with him. And my daughters did not. How much of to blame am I? Does it matter? It's done. Listen from me. Listen. It's not worth it, folks. Settle it. Talk to them. Send them a message. Because when they're gone, they're gone. And there is no going back. So, take it from an old man that is trying to discover who and where he's from. And don't listen to a raving, bitter old man. Talk to your family. We only get one shot on this rock. Michael, I thank you for sharing your time. I know it's late. You're a good man. You've always shared your time with us. And I thank you for being on this journey with me. I love you, my brother. I do. I really do. And I am eternally grateful for your encouragement and for helping me do this. Because you pushed me.
You got a long way to go still.
Still. Yes. Yeah. It's right there. Mm-hmm. Michael's testimony is beautiful. It was and is. And we will be doing this again in the future. All right, folks. I'm not going to go any further. I thank you for joining me on this trip. And there's more. I'm going to be talking about it. It's about connecting. It's about understanding who we are and where we come from. Because, folks, we are what came before us. And it's freaking exciting. It's exciting. So the lesson is, next time you tell a dirty joke, don't be stupid. You may be talking about yourself. So we're good. Folks, thank you. Michael, take us out. We'll see you guys.
Adios. See you guys.
See ya.